The world is watching the Middle East with great concern. A serious conflict involving United States, Israel, Iran has been raging for over a month. This is not just a regional problem. Its effects are spreading across the globe like ripples in a pond. The war began on February 28, 2026, with strikes that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Now, on day 38, the situation is escalating, with a new ultimatum from President Trump. This essay will explore how this conflict could pull in other major powers. We will focus on the fragile relationship between India-Pakistan, China-Russia. The decisions made in the coming days could reshape international politics for years to come. This war creates a complex web of risks and opportunities for many nations. For some, it is a direct threat to their security, economic stability. For others, it presents a chance to gain influence or advance their own agendas. The key players are not just the ones firing missiles. Countries like India and Pakistan, who share a long and troubled history, find themselves in a particularly dangerous position. Their existing tensions could easily be inflamed by the larger conflict. The situation is a stark reminder of how interconnected our world has become. The central question is how far this conflict will spread. Will other nations be drawn into the fighting, either by choice or by necessity? The focus here is on South Asia, a region already familiar with conflict. India and Pakistan, both nuclear-armed states, have faced off before. The 2025 clashes along their border were the worst in decades. The current crisis in Iran adds a powerful new element of instability to this already volatile mix. It forces both New Delhi and Islamabad to make difficult choices that could have profound consequences for their own security and for the stability of the entire region. The world holds its breath, hoping that diplomacy can prevail over escalation. We must understand the motivations of all the major players. The United States, Israel are pursuing regime change in Iran. The relationship between India and Pakistan has long been a source of global concern. These two large neighboring countries possess nuclear weapons and share a history of conflict and mistrust. The memory of the 2025 crisis is still fresh. That year, a deadly terrorist attack on Indian tourists in Kashmir, which India blamed on a group harbored by Pakistan, led to the most dangerous military confrontation between them in decades. An exchange of fire across their border illustrated just how quickly a local incident can escalate into a major crisis. This pre-existing tension forms a dangerous backdrop to the current war in Iran, making the region a potential flashpoint for a much larger conflict. The war in Iran can act as a powerful accelerant on the embers of the India-Pakistan rivalry. Both nations have stakes in the Middle East, but their interests often diverge. A new layer of complexity is added to every strategic decision they make. For example, if the United States pressures India to play a more active role in maritime security in the Arabian Sea, India finds itself in an extremely uncomfortable and delicate position. The nation has worked for years to build strong and independent relationships with all major players in the Middle East. It enjoys a robust strategic partnership with the United States, strained by President Trump's tariffs, but still crucial. Deep economic and security ties with Israel, strong ties with the UAE, strong ties with Saudi Arabia. This is vital for energy security. Millions of Indian expatriates in the Gulf. They send home billions in remittances. India has maintained a significant relationship with Iran. Iran was a key source of crude oil for India. Collaboration on projects like the Chabahar port. The current war has disrupted these plans, but the strategic reason to keep ties with Tehran remains. New Delhi is being pulled in multiple directions. Pressure from Western and Gulf partners to condemn Iran. Pakistan is navigating a minefield of conflicting loyalties and pressing domestic threats. The war in Iran has intensified the pressures on Islamabad from all sides. On one hand, Pakistan has a close strategic relationship, a mutual defense pact with Saudi Arabia, signed in September 2025. Riyadh is a key financial backer for Pakistan, a major regional rival of Iran. This alliance pulls Pakistan into the Gulf Arab states' orbit, creating an expectation of support. Consequently, Pakistan condemns Iranian missile attacks against the Gulf, even as it expresses sympathy for the Iranian people under attack from the U.S.-Israel. On the other hand, Pakistan shares a long, porous border with Iran and cannot afford a hostile relationship with its western neighbor. The two countries share security interests over militant groups in the border regions. An unstable or hostile Iran would be another major security headache for Pakistan, which is already dealing with a volatile situation on its Afghanistan border. In February 2026, Taliban forces launched major attacks on Pakistani military installations. While the immediate conflict is in the Middle East, the strategic calculations of China and Russia are shaping its global dimensions. Both powers have publicly condemned the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran, using sharp rhetoric to denounce what they see as Western aggression. They have a shared interest in challenging the U.S.-dominated global order and see the war as another example of American overreach. The conflict has served to accelerate the consolidation of the Russia-China partnership, something American grand strategy has sought to prevent for over half a century. However, despite their strong words and growing alignment, neither Moscow nor Beijing has shown any desire to intervene militarily on Iran's behalf. Russia, in particular, has emerged as a visible beneficiary of the crisis, at least in the short term. The Russian economy in early 2026 was facing precarious conditions, but the war has caused a surge in global oil prices. With prices jumping from around 60 to 120 per barrel, Russia's state coffers have been flooded with an unexpected windfall. This additional capital is crucial for Moscow. It helps sustain its expensive military operations in Europe and cushions its economy from Western sanctions. While not directly fighting, Russia is providing support to Iran, reportedly sharing satellite imagery and intelligence on the locations of American warships, thereby helping its ally without firing a shot. China's approach is guided primarily by its economic and strategic interests. The war's economic impact is spreading far beyond the battlefields of the Middle East, sending shockwaves through the global economy. The most immediate and dramatic effect has been on the price of oil. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point for global energy supplies. The conflict has severely disrupted traffic through this vital waterway. President Trump's ultimatum to Iran to reopen the strait or face attacks has only heightened market fears. For energy-importing nations like India and Pakistan, the doubling of oil prices is a severe economic blow. Higher fuel costs for consumers, increased transportation expenses for businesses, a general rise in inflation that hurts ordinary people the most. Beyond oil, the conflict is disrupting global trade and supply chains. The Middle East is a crossroads for international shipping. Many shipping companies are rerouting vessels, avoiding the region entirely. Those that continue to operate face skyrocketing insurance premiums. Those costs get passed on to consumers worldwide. Maritime slowdowns mean factories in Asia may not receive necessary parts. Finished goods may not reach markets in Europe and North America on time. The result, a less efficient, more expensive global economy and potential job losses. A deeply human economic crisis is also unfolding. As the conflict enters its 38th day, the world stands at a crossroads, with several possible scenarios unfolding in the near future. The first, and most optimistic, is a path of containment and de-escalation. In this scenario, the war remains largely confined to Iran. China continues to offer rhetorical and limited intelligence support. Russia continues to offer rhetorical and limited intelligence support, but both refrain from any direct military involvement. India recognizes the immense risks and leans into back-channel diplomacy. Pakistan also chooses mutual restraint and manages border tensions. The global economy takes a hit from high oil prices and disrupted trade, but nations adapt, and a wider military confrontation is avoided. This outcome depends on careful and deliberate choices by all leaders to prioritize stability over escalation. A second, more dangerous scenario involves a chain reaction of escalation. It could be triggered by a successful Iranian missile strike on a major Gulf oil facility, or a naval clash in the Strait of Hormuz that results in significant casualties. In response, Gulf states might formally invoke their defense pacts, drawing a country like Pakistan more directly into the conflict. This, in turn, would alarm India, leading to military mobilizations along the India-Pakistan border. Feeling cornered, Russia might increase support for Iran more openly, or China might do the same, supplying more advanced weaponry. The war in Iran serves as a powerful and sobering lesson in how interconnected our world is. A conflict that began with targeted strikes in one country now threatens to ignite tensions thousands of miles away, disrupt the global economy, and draw in nations that have no desire for war. The precarious situation between India and Pakistan, the strategic ambitions of China and Russia, and the economic dependencies of a dozen other nations. This moment demands not rash action or bold threats, but sober reflection and a profound sense of responsibility from leaders everywhere. They must consider the far-reaching consequences of their choices, not just for their own nations, but for the millions of people who will suffer if the conflict continues to spread. The most urgent priority must be a return to diplomacy. Even in the heat of conflict, lines of communication must be kept open. India and Pakistan must use every available channel, including neutral mediators, protecting civilian life, ensuring the safety of migrant workers, securing vital trade routes. Practical steps can be taken now to lower the temperature. Safe shipping corridors, possibly monitored by neutral parties. A coordinated international plan to support displaced workers and refugees. Most importantly, leaders must step back from the brink of ultimatums. Public threats to bomb power plants and bridges are a dangerous tactic. They invite reckless responses and close diplomatic off-ramps. Quiet, patient diplomacy is far more effective than loud public threats. Ultimately, the path forward is a choice, not an inevitability. The crisis can lead to a more fractured and dangerous world, or it can be a moment when the international community chooses cooperation over confrontation. United States, Iran, India, Pakistan, China, Russia. They can choose to escalate, to pursue short-term advantages at the risk of global catastrophe. Or they can choose restraint, recognizing that in a deeply interconnected world, security is collective.